Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is our last lecture in CLT, and it is at the same time last lecture in this course. Okay, so reviewing the technique in the CLT. What are the techniques that the teacher used and why? So the first technique is what? Authentic materials. Why the teacher use authentic material? To overcome the typical problem that students cannot transfer what they learn in the classroom to the outside world. Students can use the language inside the classroom, but they cannot use it outside when they go out, when they want to communicate. So authentic material, the teacher use authentic material to overcome this problem. And also to expose students to natural language in a variety of situations, and also to make students in contact with real situations, different natural language in variety or in different situations. In this lesson, as you remember, we see that the teacher used a newspaper article, okay? The teacher used a newspaper article. He also assigned the students homework, and in the homework the teacher asked them to write about what? About two political candidates are running for election. So all these newspaper and elections and to write about candidates, political candidates, are what? Authentic materials, because they are real situations in the normal life, on the everyday life. Of course, the class that we observe was at the high intermediate level of proficiency. It's possible to use authentic language materials such as these. So it's normal, or it's okay to use authentic material with the high intermediate level. But what about the low level? Okay, is it okay to use, for example, authentic material? So simpler authentic material like weather forecast can be used when working on predictions, or at least ones that are realistic, are most desirable. So also we can use what? With the lower level, not only with the highest level, but with the lower level we can use also authentic material like the weather forecast, for example. Also, another possibility for the use of authentic materials with a lower level class is to use items of realia. For example, these realia, because it contain a lot of language, okay, but about which a lot of do not contain lot of language, but about there is a lot of discussion. Okay, the students can discuss, they can speak, they can communicate, they can use the target language as it is in the in real situation. Okay, so for example, what we can use: menu, for example, or timetable. These can students use them in the lower level, and they can be used, can be seen as authentic materials. Okay, so this is the first technique, the authentic material. The teacher can as we discussed in the CLT, the teacher use a newspaper article and then ask students to write about the two political candidates who run against each other. Okay, let's move to another technique: scrambled sentences. Okay, the students are given a passage or text in which the sentences are in scrambled order. They are not in the correct order. Okay, they are mixed. So this may be a passage they have worked with, or one they have not seen. It's not a problem that maybe the text they have seen before, they have worked on before, or a new text. They are told to do what? To unscramble, to arrange them, to put them in their original order. Okay? The teacher asks them to put these sentences in their original order. Okay, so what's the importance of this exercise or this practice or this technique? This type of exercise teaches students about the cohesion and coherence properties of language. Okay, they will know how to connect, how to put them in their original order, in their original sequence of events. They learn how sentences are bound together. Okay, so in addition to coherence, cohesion and coherence, they will know about sentences, how they are bound together, how شلون الجمل مترابطة مع بعضها at suprasentential level through formal linguistic devices. For example, شلون نربط هذه الجمل through pronoun, for example, which, where, who, whom, that, okay, therefore, and so on, which make a text cohesive and semantic preposition. They can also use semantic prepositions which unify a text and make it coherent. Okay, so inscrumbled or scrambled sentences are very important to teach students cohesion and coherence, and how to bound sentences by using pronoun, by using semantic prepositions, by using conjunctions, okay, and so on. This will develop their ability in the in language. Okay, yes. Let's move to another technique. Language game. Games are used frequently in CLT. The students find them enjoyable, and if they are properly designed, they give students valuable communicative practice. So in addition to enjoying play games, okay, so these games are what? Valuable communicative practice. They practice, they interact, okay, they use the target language to communicate with other group members. Okay, games that are truly communicative according to Morrow, okay, have three features of communication: information gap, choice, and feedback. Okay, so these are the most important three features when the students play games. These three features were manifest in the card game. Do you remember the card game we have talked about in the experience? The card game, one of the students show the card and the other students predict about what or where they go to spend, for example, the weekend. Okay, so these three important features in the game: information gap, choice, and feedback. An information gap existed because the speaker did not know what the classmate was going to do the following weekend. Okay, this is information gap. يعني اكو هنا معلومة مفقودة، معلومة يبحث عنها that the speaker did not know. He will predict, did not know what her classmate was going to do, okay, in the weekend. So this is information gap. The speaker had the choice as to what she would predict, what to say, what to predict. Okay, she is, for example, he is going or she is going to play tennis. She is going to watch, for example, a football match. Okay, so she has, or the speaker has a choice to say or to predict which sport and how she would predict. The third, the speaker receive feedback, okay, from the member or her group. If her prediction was incomprehensible, then none of the member of her group would respond if she got incomprehensible response. Okay, so here she will receive, or the person who predicts will receive what? Feedback from the other group members if his prediction or her prediction was incomprehensible, okay, so he will not receive any, if the production was not a meaningful response. So here we have what in the games are enjoyable, yes, but they are communicative, they are valuable communicative practice, okay, because they practice the language, they interact, they communicate with each other in the group, okay. And the most important features of games of communication information, there is information gap, there is choice, and there is feedback, okay, and they are listed here, and I want you to read it carefully. So games are important to provide students with opportunity to communicate, beside they are enjoyable. Picture strip story, and this is one of the technique that the teacher use in CLT. Many activities can be done with picture strip story, okay. So there are many activities. We have discussed one of the activities that the teacher used. An information gap existed. This is the most important thing. Information gap, that one don't know something. This is the information gap is existed. The students in the group did not know what the picture contained. This is information gap because the students don't know what the picture contained. They had a choice as to what their prediction would be and how they would word it. So there is information gap. There is a choice in this game, okay. There is a choice. The students will choose what to say, what their prediction would be, and how they word it, how they utter it, how they form it, okay. So here in this picture strip story, there is information gap because they don't know what the picture contained, and they have a choice to say what to say, and they have what they will receive feedback then when they produce, when they word it. Okay, so they receive feedback not on the form but on the content of the production. Okay, so they will receive feedback from the other member of a group when they predict about a picture, by being able to view the picture and compare it with their prediction. How they receive this feedback? When they see they predict first about the picture, but then they will see it and they will compare it to what they have said. Okay, when they see the picture and compare it with their prediction. Okay. Role play, and the last technique, the role play, and it's also a very important technique. Role play is very important in CLT because they give students an opportunity to practice communicating in different social contexts and in different social roles. So this technique is also important. Students, okay, give students opportunity to practice in different social contexts. The teacher, for example, told them that you are employees in one company. The example that we have discussed in the experience. The teacher told them that you are employees in one company and you have to discuss that your company is going to merge with another company. Okay, so the teacher put them in this situation and asked them to discuss. This is an opportunity for them to communicate, okay, in this social context and social, they have to play this social role. For example, the teacher tell the students who they are. Okay, men whom, and the teacher told them that you are employees in one company, okay, and told them what is the situation, okay, the situation that their company is going to merge with another company, and what they are talking about, and the teacher told them that you are talking about different situation, whether or not one of the employees, for example, or some employees will lose their job, whether or not they will earn more money, whether or not some employees have to move in the place. Okay, so the teacher provide them with the basics of the situation and are talking and what they are talking about, but the students determine what they will say. The students will determine, will be free what to say, Okay, I mean the words, the sentences, the phrase they choose, they will be free. So role play is important because they give students opportunity to practice communicating in different situations, in a different social role. Okay, and the teacher role is to tell them who they are. Okay, من هم, and what is the situation, ما هي الحالة, and the students will choose what to say. Role play structured like this provide information gap. Okay, so this situation or the role play structured like this مبني بهذه الطريقة provide information gap, since students cannot be sure as with most form of communication. Okay, so there is information gap, and what is the information gap here? That students are not sure, cannot be sure what is the most form of communication, what is the most appropriate, for example, form of communication, what the other person or people will say, and they don't know what the other people will say. So here it's a real situation, okay, or authentic material or authentic situation. There is a natural unpredictability. Okay, حالة طبيعية for communication. Students also receive feedback, and this is also important. Students receive feedback on whether or not they have communicated effectively. Okay, so here they will receive feedback from the teacher and from the other students in the group if their communication was effective, if they have communicated correctly or not. Okay, so this is the role play, and it's an important technique, and it's the last thing we talk about here in this lecture today. So thank you for today, and we have finished with the TOEFL discourse. Okay, so we have studied these 4 methods: grammar translation method, direct method, audiolingual method, and CLT. If you have anything you don't understand, you want me to explain again, so I'm ready. We still have 2 or 3 weeks before the final exam, so maybe I will try to explain the introduction before the grammar translation method. For example, the approach, the method, the procedure, and these things next time, inshallah. But if you have anything you don't understand, I'm ready to explain it again. And thank you so much. Hope you all the best.